Hello again and welcome to yet another Buddyhood League Season 2 game. This time we'll be looking at Mwewerscat against Aenur, and we see here that we have the cash one warband deploys tightly around its wagon while the other warband has 3 groups deployed. We are following this game from Aenur's perspective, and we did see that he had rank 2 in his warband and Mwewerscat had a rank 1. Mwewerscat is playing as a Skaven, Aenur is playing as the Sisters of Sigmar. And we see that the Sisters of Sigmar here seems to be, yes indeed, they seem to be organized around their wagon, which means that Mwewerscat will be placed in 3 groups. See what they can do with that. Since Mwewerscat is only level 1, that means we're only gonna see a single leader. Always a single leader, of course, but yes, a single hero as well, and 4 henchmen. That is it. The difference is high. Why is that? Yeah, it's actually a bit worrisome. I think this is kind of a big difference. You can see that with the morale 102 against 46. We said in Karond's game against Doc that the morale wasn't too big of a difference, but that was only because Doc was playing the undead. When the undead is not factored in because of the zombies, that is a massive morale advantage, and I can't for the life of me figure out really why, and why is Mwewerscat only level 1 as the warband. Let's quickly bring up the division table while they are deploying and talking a little bit. We see here at the very bottom, Aenur is at 0 points and Mwewerscat is at 6 points with 1 victory and 1 loss. Mwewerscat has 2 losses. That's because Aenur is taking over from someone else who left, so he hasn't actually lost any PvPs. To join this particular league as a replacement, he got to play 5 PvE games, and this is his first PvP, and I think that's pretty fair since the player he replaced had also played 5 PvE games and 2 PvP games. And while you may suffer some injuries in the PvP games, at least they will advance your warband ranking and have a little bit more of experience. It's a nice trade-off, I think. But Mwewerscat then, if Mwewerscat has won 1 game and lost 1 game, that means that he has at least 4 PvE games behind him. And if he won all of those games, as well as the other game, that means that he should be level 2 unless he failed to complete the secondary objective in every single game. So that's a pretty poor record if that's the case. I think Aenur is probably right here that we might see a bit of a power distance between these 2 guys. But we'll see. Mwewerscat's luck is not with him. I doubt that he will be able to finish his objective this game either, since he got crushed the will. He has to steal the icon from Aenur, and Aenur deployed right around his wagon, making it very difficult to steal. Aenur meanwhile only has to kill Quickskull and take his warp trinket. See how that turns out. Already see one of the wardstones picked up here. Second wardstone. I don't know why he's placing a mark in the top left corner, but since we know that Mwewerscat is picking up 2 wardstones, you can sort of figure out exactly where he is. And since he starts with at least 1 team around his wagon, I think we could expect him to maybe go in the top right corner. Since we do see 2 warpstones there, wardstones. Third warpstone is picked. Yeah, you could also go down the center. We saw 2 wardstones there as well. He's got a quick glimpse and I'm gonna have to confirm it. Yeah, that did look like 2 warpstones. But it's much more reasonable to gather up here in the center, since where he's hovering around now, that's one of the starting points for a group. And since they only deploy 6 units, it's the disadvantage of deploying in 3 different groups. It's not that big actually, since it's only going to be 2 groups that he's going to focus on, and that would be the perfect meetup place for Mwewerscat's units. So top right corner would be my guess here of where they actually are. You can see immediately here that Aenur has at least level 3 on his henchman, since he has 4 red pills on that sister henchman. You get the 4th red pill at level 3. Going after some wordstone probably. So it's a good idea, even if it's not one of your objectives to get the wordstone. You always need the wordstone, and since in this particular league they're not using all of the veteran points available, you can only use 5 of them, and I don't think too many people are actually spending them on increasing wordstone days, which means that for each 10 days used there will be another shipment request. And the shipment requests will just rise in weight all the time, so you need to gather wordstone. It's very pressing when it's so much PvP going on, because you're losing some of the wordstone that you would normally get during a PvE. There's still the same amount on the map, usually, unless you play something that's more like exceptional, but you do get to pick up less wordstone, that's for sure. So you'll always be pressed on that. Might want to go around the side here and pick up those wordstones behind the big building here, and also within the building. Could be good starting points. I don't think Mwewerscat will come and interrupt. If that is the case. Looking for something. It's much better to actually look at the minimap and do things when it's your opponent's turn, rather than what Aenur is doing here, looking at it while it's his turn. Oh, we see a really nice wordstone cluster over there. Nice catch. So judging from the morale and warband rating, I think Aenur is probably a bit favored here. He also probably doesn't have any injuries going into this, which Mwewerscat might have. I think if Mwewerscat has done so poorly with the PvE games, then it's likely that he has gotten a few injuries from that. Unless he has completely forgotten about the updated rules that Game Night brought in, which was previously before this, you played 1 PvE, 1 PvP and then 1 PvE all the time, but the new rules state that after each loss you take in PvP, you get to play an extra PvE. So if Mwewerscat forgot about that, he would probably have 3 PvEs played right now instead of 4 as he is entitled to. Could also impact a bit of his levels. I'm gonna have to wait to see what units he's bringing and how level they actually are. I don't really get why Aenur is looking at the minimap when it's his turn. He should do that during his opponent's turn instead. For Sigmar, always a very nice skill, boosting movement by 3 for the turn. Best part about For Sigmar is that you can actually manipulate it a little bit For example, if you target a character that's near you on the initiative ladder, like for example right after you, and then that character gets a boost to initiative by some means. He's switching weapons or taking a potion of Crimson Shade or getting a skill handed to him that increases his initiative, so he goes up before the Sister Superior, then he will effectively have the bonus for 2 turns. First the turn that he receives it, and then on the next turn, because it's not the because it's resets on the Sister Superior's turn. Well, there's a little bit of a trick that you can pull off with the Sisters of Sigmar. This skill gets much more powerful as you target heroes and leaders that have exhaustion mastered if you come up to the higher levels. We'll see how many people actually dare invest in that. Many of the skills do cost a lot in gold, and so you don't want to invest too much in your characters in case they die or suffer from crippling injuries, and even if they do, sometimes you do want to keep them anyway. That's especially true for these 2 players who might not reach for the top part of the table. We will see about Aenur. So far he will start out a little bit behind with his 0 points and 2 losses, but his warband hasn't actually suffered that, as said. So he might still climb the table. We'll see about Mwewerscat. I worry a bit for him since he has such a low warband rating at this point. But it might be that he just forgot about the rule that Game Night recently implemented. So he has 1 more PvE game to play, and should he lose this game, then he actually has 3 more PvE games to play. He should in total, should he lose this game, he should have 6 PvE games played. And if he wins this game, he should have 5 PvE games played before his next opponent. You can see that Aenur here is picking up a little bit of what Kid and Pa did in his game and what I usually do, which is typing a bit in the chat and then erasing it to let the viewers know just how
a new round has started.
Kinda like that. I really like Aenur. He was very enthusiastic coming into this league, and he seems to be a very nice addition. He's eager to learn, he has played a lot of PvE, and is just itching to get into a community and do something with all of us, and I kinda like that. And we get a first glimpse here of a Night Runner, and that seems to be Quick Ska. The Night Runner that Aenur wants to kill. Ambush stance, so he's not using a ranged weapon, which is typical. We've seen most of the other Skaven players use ranged weapons on their Night Runner, which I personally favor, by the way. I think he's more adapted to being a ranged individual than a melee unit. His passive also speaks for avoidance. Assassin leader, very close by. All seem to be gathering in the house. Maybe they have there's some warp guards or Verminkin following suit soon. The sister's gonna trigger her passive. Repentance plus 2 movement after picking up a wordstone is gonna help a lot. And early on, I think the sisters really need to do that. That's why I would recommend you to focus more on sisters than novices, because the extra movement speed is really crucial early on, as you're lacking in range that all of the other warbands have available to them, and range can sort of trigger battles and they can weaken units before they dare to commit. And if you don't have anything, like, you shouldn't focus entirely on range, by the way, we went through that already, but you should have at least a little bit of range at the very least. And If you don't have that, like the Sister Sigma stunt, then increasing movement speed with the Sister Superior and with Sisters boosting their movement through picking up word stones, which is always useful, means that you can... Yeah, he's shaking out here, he has one space left over for that wordstone bag that we saw over there. Next turn. That means that you can actually close the gap much faster and get in on the units that you want. So I find that they are very much a better choice there. And they can also get more armor and... well, they can get the same armor, but they are more fitted for heavy armor or light armor use, as well as parry. And incidentally, their passives remains useful throughout all of the levels, especially if you do get something like heavy armor that reduces your movement. You give them a nice boost every now and then. You see Quickska only has 5% armor and 10% armor on Squid Squealer. That means that Quickska probably only has a helmet on him and a white cloth. Squid Squealer might have a white light armor and no helmet. They seem to be pretty low though. They are gonna suffer quite a bit even against the henchmen here of Aenur. But miracles can happen, and if the Skaven do some hit and run attacks here, they might do very well. Bit troubling that the Quickska, the Night Runner, was not ranged, could have helped him out, particularly if there were shurikens. I would not really recommend Warpstone pistols at this point, this early. It's a bit of the same that we talked about in the earlier extra game. No, we talked about that in the Skin Crawlers game against Rioran, that it's much better to fire twice with one weapon than fire once for 3 red pills. So better to use 4 red pills than just 3 red pills. And in that light I would get for shurikens, and shurikens also increase your chances to hit, which always helps. Don't know why you didn't pick that stone up. One of the warp guards is revealed, going into the same house, probably gathering. I think he's pretty much gathered by now. He is the Skaven after all, and they do not have too much of distance to cover to join up with each other. It seems like Aenur here is trying to set up some sort of elaborate ambush around this wagon. We'll see how that turns out. It seems to have gotten the basics down here of using the minimap, except for the crucial thing that he's only checking it when it's yeah, here we go. Typically in this Buddyhood League, you do see players that early on and later on as well end their turn always in ambush, and I really don't like that. It's a pretty poor strategic move if it's just do that as a general sense, since the only time you should really use that is when you want to cover ground and make it safe. Otherwise, if you're expecting the person to be charged or mopped up on, just leave them in a stance, or just leave them as they are if you're using up all of the blue pills. And that's particularly true when you face the Skaven. It's really poor to put yourself in ambush stance, because the Skaven can just charge you, and then you have lost the red pills and then you have no defense until it's your turn again. You can also be drawn into unfortunate areas with your ambush, so you have to be paying attention to that. The only way I would use ambush against the Skaven here early on would be to actually close certain areas off that I really don't want them to go into, or I don't want them to go after a certain character. I will try and protect them. We will see how Aenur does here, but a tactic that he could have available to him in that sense is he could boost one of his units with the Sister Superior active skill for Sigmar, giving them +3 movement, so on their base 6 movement 6, +3 movement is movement 9, and that's 1 more movement than the Skavens who start out at 8. And by so you could actually charge a Skaven who has entered an ambush stance, and for Skaven it's usually pretty good to enter ambush stances. At least to cover ground. You don't want to enter an ambush stance all the time, particularly not in buildings or around corners or anywhere where they can be cut off. In my game against Handy NL, my first game in the Buddyhood League, he deployed in an ambush similar to the unit you see up right in front here, the one who is in ambush, and that's a really poor ambush stance. And you know why? You see the circle around the character, it's actually a little bit bigger than it's shown. And it means that
a new round has started.
Can come in from behind the wall and hit the circle without the ambush triggering, and so that unit will not get any red pills whatsoever in defense. And that's exactly what I did against Handy NL, who entered into ambushes exactly like that, and he didn't even get to attack back. Yeah, it seems to, maybe he's eavesdropping here on the recording. Aenur, stop cheating. He's not doing that. I fear a little bit for Quickscout. We'll see what he does with him. He's a melee Night Runner that's of a significantly lower level here than pretty much any of the units of Aenur. I don't know why you should lock him at the door. Well, I mean, if you walk around the house and you just lock him out that way, so he only has 1 unit at the door and you 2, but it doesn't really lead anything for the sisters because, you know, you don't have any range to fire into that combat. Usually when you want a bottleneck, it's because you want to limit how they can use their melee units and maximize your melee units as well as all of your ranged units to pour into that fight, thereby giving you leverage. But you seem to both be players that are full on melee units. Don't really know what Assassin has yet, but I doubt that the warp cards are bringing shurikens, even though they can. Yeah, 42 to 47, that's definitely not a shuriken, that looks like a halberd. Ah, wait, it could be as double weapons instead. I will take that back. I think a halberd has a bigger range in between though. I think so. It was pretty low. We saw Bushak here, 106 wounds. That's pretty much level 0. Don't know why you're... Yeah, I mean, you are covering up the wagon. True. So it's very difficult to get the banner. Wow, those sound effects are really noisy. I kinda like this move, saving taking up the stones for next time, making sure that you have movement when it counts. We see a frenzy on this particular sister, the name giving her away. I could probably take it the other way around, but alright. It's a bit of a long way around. Suffering a little bit. In the weapon skill department. There we see a halberd, indeed. So it might actually be a halberd, so. Alright. Putting himself in a decent ambush position. Going out with the warp guards first. Hoping for the heroes to go in for a killing blow. Unfortunately, I think that there is quite a bit of wounds on Aenur's units. We saw earlier it was somewhere around 40, low 40s in damage for one of the warp guards. And so it's not really gonna kill off one of these units like 162. You need 4 of them to hit. Seems a bit unlikely right now. Let's see what this unit does. Lady see a light. Might be a bad idea now to speed them up so you can actually charge. We did see that all the units of Mwewerscats went into an ambush, and you could possibly charge them. Make sure that they don't get any red pills left to strike back with. He also has to be a little bit careful here, Aenur, because he wants to pick up Quick Ska's warp trinket, so he needs to kill him. So you can't kill too many units because the morale of Mwewerscat is really low. Oh, what's happening now? Yeah, this is a problem that happens with Steam sometimes. Whenever I record from someone else, they need to have enough bandwidth, and if you have a lot of programs going on at the same time or doing certain things otherwise, sometimes Steam shuts down for a while. Might be temporarily. Seems like it's temporarily here. Yeah, there we are. You can actually adjust the how many megabytes you're uploading with when you're doing your broadcasts, so you can work around this. But you do have to restart Steam after each change, or it won't take effect. Karond the Enlightened. Now we see that all of the units here from Aenur has level 4, well, level 3. Have we checked out the warp guards yet? Let's see what they have. How many red pills do they have? Come on, there's 3. There's 3, there's 3, there's 3. Okay, so all of them are level 2 or less, and we do know that one of the warp guards is at least level 0, fresh. It seems like Aenur wants to make it pretty much impossible for Mwewerscat here to get his objective, to steal the icon. And normally I think Mwewerscat could actually exploit this. If he had at least some range, he could just cycle the range in and out, keeping himself at a distance. Let's see if that makes too much of a difference. Here comes first warp guard, looking for a charge, is indeed charging and missing, and that unit's attack. A fresh warp guard as well, 106 wounds. I think that was yeah, I don't know.
A new round has
Maybe
started.
He wants to remove this unit so that he can get the icon, but if so, there is another unit in the and it triggers and that's and it is Quick Ska with fighting claws. This is gonna hurt because he's gonna attack now, then he's gonna get another attack back at him. He's gonna be half dead already. Aren't you? Yeah. That really hurts, and we do see 3 henchmen coming up here for Aenur, so he might actually mob that unit down and kill Quickska and take the warp trinket. Warp poison, that's a bit unusual to have. It's a very unusual first choice, seems to work here. So he just lost 2 red pills for this one. It doesn't stack with itself, and saved on the poison resistance here for the second one. Alright. It's only gonna take 1 Weeping Blade damage here. So the objective here should probably be to focus down on Quickska. No, don't go into the henchman, go into Quickska. Take Quickska, come on, Heidi Holy. There we go. Nice. I don't know why the 5 PvE is so ridiculous. Like, you have just 1 PvE less if you follow the rules, Mwewerscat. But we already talked about this. Seems like we get an honorary mention. Karond and Frains do PvE on Deadly and Brutal, yeah. We do. And it's difficult in the beginning. If you haven't had too much experience with Mordheim, you don't usually do that, but after a while you learn how the AI thinks. For example, one of the things that always upset me when I was a new player is that as soon as the AI have seen one of your units once, they know exactly where all of your units are for the rest of the game. But before that, they usually spread out, go in different directions to try and find you. But as soon as they see you, they've seen all of your units. And that's something that's always worth to keep in mind, because if you ever try to hide an injured unit in a house somewhere and wonder why the AI actually goes in there and happens to find you, no, it's because they already knew that you were there. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Rita Righteous Rage here, not exactly coming in, but at least covering up the flank here of the henchman that's under attack. Is there some unit that you can actually use here that would... you are right, okay, there, yeah. Yeah, but since you won, I'm way behind here. You're only 1 PvE game behind. That's all you are behind, if you follow the rules. And I don't know if Mwewerscat actually did that. He might only be sitting on 3 PvEs here instead of 4s. At 4-3, it's not too big of a deal. So some tactical planning, you can probably do this. I also kind of, in a way, Mwewerscat lacks range, yes, but with Skaven it should be okay. I mean, you have lots of speed to cover up the distance. 42 damage, good start. Answering a dodge stance as well. Second last henchman to move. Don't go into that. No, you're gonna get ambushed if you go in there. You're gonna get ambushed. Ah, oh, just sneak in. Nice for you. Thought you definitely would hit the ambush there. Gene to creep. It's a common name. So hasn't even renamed the unit there. You shouldn't charge. You should just use 3 attacks if you can on someone. Let's see who you try to focus on. If you focus on Quickska, you could probably do that. Yeah, focus on Quickska. That's an unusual path around. Good thinking. And there he is. Quickska. Listen there. Go around a little bit more. There you have him. You want at least one blue pill remaining here. You want one blue pill remaining. You don't want to use up all of them. The problem here is that if you do kill him, you can't actually go and get. Yeah. Now your movement is. The aura around Lady Lucia Light is actually making sure that no one else can go in there and pick up the warp trinket. And you need the warp trinket, Aenur. You need the warp trinket. You have a great opportunity here to get some extra points and some extra XP for all of your units, and you need that. Still lots of time though. And you can't actually reach that. AWC is in the way. We seem to have lost the image again. But we've retained sound. That's pretty odd. There we are. So, just... yeah, you probably want to save your own henchmen here. But make sure that you don't kill too many so that Mwewerscat routes, and I wouldn't actually trust his assassin leader to have much of a leadership here. He starts with 7, right? So that's not too great. There's only 28% chance to succeed at the route test. See if he has something. Go fight somewhere else. You can't reach it because of Lady Lucia Light. Light didn't even have actually gone in with her. Maybe Aenur was too impatient to get at Quickska. You could probably gone in with another unit. Yeah, 1 poison damage. I might die here as soon as it's the assassin leader's turn. Attack. Very nice hit, doing a little bit more damage. It's always nice to focus on the heroes and the leaders, but just make sure that Lady Lucia Light
a new round has started.
Trinkets. So equalized, 1 hero down for Mwewerscat, 1 henchman down for Aenur so far. Warp poison again, alright. I don't know if I like warp poison, like as a first. Watch out now. You might trigger the ambush here. No, that's terrible. That's terrible. That was terrible. Lady Lucia Light actually might have destroyed the chances here for Aenur to get the secondary objective, since alright, you didn't have enough movement and you really wanted to go in there. That was impatient, so it's a mistake. But going into an ambush as well and having it triggered means that you now have a fight with the assassin leader on top, and if the assassin leader goes down here, then he, if you kill him now, he can't make the route test, and then you're doomed. Yeah, you're doomed. You see that little bag there, right? Right there, indeed. You can't reach it because Lady Lucia Light is in the way, and you just killed only character that could make a route test. That was so bad. Well, this is the main reason that whenever it's your turn, don't be too eager. Don't charge in with your next character. Never, ever think, whenever it's your character's turn, think about, oh, what can I do with this character? No, never do that. Always think about how this character can fit into the purpose and the goal of the warband that's currently or whatever plan you currently have in motion with that with the warband. So don't just plan it out a little bit more. Like you see the Sister Superior and the Major coming right after one another. If you have an easy kill going that you have to do, if it suits your purposes better to have the Sister Superior go elsewhere. Don't go in and kill the character only for the Sister Superior to stand there or go away and then not have anything to do with the Matriarch. The Matriarch can perfectly well go in and kill the unit afterwards. And he should have thought a little bit more here about what he wanted to do and not engage the assassin. So, yeah, Lady Lucia Light, not so much the light here. Named after an Italian saint who was the light. It's a nice touch. But we're gonna see the game GG here now, because Mwewerscat cannot make this route test, and it's gonna be 3-1 to Aenur. So congrats on your first win, Aenur, and I hope that you do better and get the secondary objective whenever you can. And I hope the same from Mwewerscat. I hope you at least get the secondary objective from one of your games. So maybe you should check up how many PvE games that you have actually played here, because you do seem to be well underpowered compared to your opponent. It will be the same for all of the other opponents that you face. So GG, and we'll see if we come back with some other games. It was nice seeing some other players except Doc and Kid and Pa or myself, and you didn't get the objective. You don't need to use that language. So nice to see a bit of the two individuals that are struggling a bit in Division 1. I hope to bring you more games available. And for now, farewell and see you next time. Goodbye.